Hello, welcome to the European Open Briefing for Tuesday, October the 3rd. I'm Rafi Barajan, currency analyst at xm.com, and we're going to be having a look at what's happening in the currency markets today. So we are seeing a continued positive momentum for the US dollar. The dollar index is currently at a 1.5 months high. We did have a stronger than expected ISM manufacturing PMI yesterday, which lifted the greenback as well as boosting expectations of one more rate hike later this year. European currencies aren't faring as well, though. The euro and the pound are both down for a second consecutive day today on the back of political worries in the region. We did have an RBA policy meeting earlier today. The RBA kept interest rates unchanged as expected, but the Australian dollar slid to a 2.5 months low after the announcement statement, and the New Zealand dollar is also down, falling to 1 month low on the back of the stronger greenback, but also we did have some disappointing business confidence data out of New Zealand earlier today. Let's first start though with the US dollar. We can see that the dollar yen and dollar index have been climbing to multi-week highs. We can see the dollar index is once again testing the 113 level. It hasn't managed to close above it yet after flirting with it over the past week. The dollar index is at a 1.5 months high. It hit 93.92 a short while ago. It's currently trading at 93.75. So yesterday we had the ISM manufacturing PMI, which jumped to its highest in 13.5 years to 60.8, beating expectations of 58 and the prior 58.8. There could be some possible distortion from the hurricanes we had at the end of August, early September. The reports that there were supply constraints which might have affected prices. We saw the ISM, the subcomponent prices paid index, rising to 71.5. That's the highest since 2011. But overall, it still does add to expectation that the U.S. economic outlook is improving, and of course we have growing speculation about who's going to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve, and the possibility that the next chair will be a more hawkish one. That's also been lifting both the US dollar and also US Treasury yields. We can see here in purple the yield on 10-year notes that hit a 3 month high of 2.371% yesterday. And that's obviously had a negative impact on gold prices, which have fallen to 7-week low, $1,267.76 an ounce. And we can see that although the euro is being weighed by that Spanish referendum over the weekend, it hasn't had much of an impact on gold prices. So most analysts believe that that independence vote in Catalonia, any anxiety over that will likely fade in the coming days. But for now the euro is struggling. It has firmed up a little bit ahead of the European Open, so has sterling. The euro is currently at 1.1732, having hit a 1.5 months low, 1.1694 earlier in Asian trading. So although on Sunday there was quite a bit of violence in Catalonia during the independence vote, where 90% of people voted in favor of separating from Spain, it's unlikely that that will lead to actual cessation, but it has added to the uncertainty. We did see quite a bit of easing of the political uncertainty after the French elections. Now they seem to be re-emerging, first with a vote in Germany where Angela Merkel has come out much weaker and she needs to form a coalition with other parties. We also have elections in Austria on October the 15th, and Italy, perhaps the most risky one. Italy will go to the polls. It has to go to the polls before end of May 2018. So we could see potential unease over the political situation in the Eurozone coming back to haunt the markets, and sterling also is being weighed by political uncertainty, mainly Brexit. On Friday we saw the GDP downgrade in the second quarter, and we're also seeing businesses becoming increasingly vocal about the slow progress in the Brexit talks, as well as the uncertainty it is creating. And this week we have the Conservative Party in the UK holding their annual party conference, where May will post Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, who's rumored to be interested in Theresa May's job, and Theresa May, as well as Prime Minister and head of the party, will be speaking later this week, and it is hoped that the party will come out of that conference a bit more united and give a bit more clarity about the Brexit process. We can see the pound has fallen to a near 3-week lows, 1.3228 earlier in Asian trading today, but has since firmed up a little bit to around 1.3274. Let's look at the Australian dollar now, because the RBA did hold its policy meeting earlier today, keeping rates unchanged at 1.5% as expected, but there seem to be perhaps a little bit less hawkish than previously. They don't appear to be in any hurry to signal a rate hike, and although they're still worried about low wage growth, rising household debt, they did the past two meetings they have been a little bit more worried about the stronger exchange rate and its impact on growth and inflation, as well as a little bit less optimistic about the growth outlooks. So we saw the Aussie hitting a 2.5 months low of 0.7783 after the meeting. It's currently trading just above the 0.78 level against the US dollar. The New Zealand dollar is also not doing so well. We have political uncertainty there as well, where the three main parties will have to come up with well, basically they will need to decide on forming a government, with the third largest party being the Kingmakers. The New Zealand dollar hit a 1-month low of 0.7146 against the dollar a short while ago. We also had business confidence data weighing on the Kiwi as well. The NZIER confidence index fell to plus 5% from plus 18% in the third quarter. Looking at today's economic calendar, the main focus will be in the European session will be construction PMI out of the UK and Eurozone producer prices. We're not going to see any major US data out today, but we will see the dairy, the latest global dairy milk auction, which could affect the Kiwi. And also worth noting is a speech by Fed Governor Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is actually a surprise runner-up to be the next Fed chair, so investors might take a little bit more notice of what he will have to say when he speaks later at 12:30 GMT. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.